I've managed to avoid Call of Duty Advanced Warfare's Exo Zombies mode since the game came out in 2014. If you've seen any of my other videos, you know I'm a bit of a Treyarch fanboy. I like the normal, standard, mainline Black Ops Zombies games the most of any entry. Although that being said, I actually am a fan of other games like World War II Zombies and Infinite Warfare Zombies modes. They're a lot of fun and they offer a different take on the standard COD Zombies experience. Sledgehammer and Infinity Ward do know how to make good Zombies modes. But something about Exo Zombies, a version of the mode that seemingly is much more challenging and relies a lot on its namesake, the exosuit featured in Advanced Warfare, a futuristic mechanical exoskeleton suit that allows you to speed boost and rocket run and boost jump and take advantage of all sorts of cyborg superhuman abilities, it just didn't mesh well with me. And so for one reason or another, I've avoided playing Exo Zombies up until this week. And truth be told, I've actually wanted to give it a shot for a long time. I kept thinking about picking up a copy of the game, downloading the first DLC, and giving Exo Zombies a shot. I owned Advanced Warfare when it came out, but I never bought DLC 1, which added Exo Zombies to the game. I only ever touched the multiplayer a little bit, and then pretty much went back to my other older COD games and played those while I waited for the next Treyarch game to come out. It was more fun for me at the time to go back and replay Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2 than it was to try something new, and I'll admit that was a bit foolish of me. Because after over a decade of waiting and hesitating to play this version of Zombies, I'm fully and honestly ready to admit Exo Zombies is really fun, and it's weirdly good in its own quirky way. So I want to start by breaking down how Exo Zombies works in case you're not familiar with the mode. Because chances are you're like me and you've managed to avoid it and pay more attention to the Treyarch modes than any other Zombies mode in Call of Duty. At its core, it's actually very faithful to the mode that it's mimicking. And I'm not saying that every other COD Zombies mode has to be exactly like Treyarch's Black Ops Zombies, but for better or for worse, every other attempt at another developer Zombies game has been an attempt to clone the experience that Treyarch created, but with a few extra quirks and minor gameplay changes. And Exo Zombies follows that trend. You load in, you go through rounds of zombies, they get progressively harder to fight by speeding up and getting more health and armor, and you need to scale yourself alongside them by getting new weapons from a mystery box-like machine, the 3D printer, and upgrading them with a pack-a-punch style mechanic, all while unlocking perks and abilities along the way. Exo Zombies functions exactly the same, but now with the added movement quirks of needing to utilize your exosuit to maneuver around the map and continue to survive by jumping over crowds of zombies onto different platforms and areas of the map, quickly blast past a crowd you're about to get trapped near, and so on and so forth. You're still killing zombies, gathering up points, picking up insta-kills and double points and max ammos and nukes, all the different kinds of power-ups you'd come to expect from the Treyarch mode. You still try to get the game's wonder weapon, you still want to survive up through higher rounds. It's a very traditional zombie survival experience. It's very competent and it's very capable as a zombies mode. And if that's all you're looking for, it's actually pretty good. And of course, you have to combine this all with the brand new movement system that was introduced with Advanced Warfare, the exosuit. You're now able to rocket jump and in-air speed boost and do a bunch of different weird things with your character. And it's actually really satisfying in this zombies mode, which actually came as a bit of a shock to me when I first sat down and played Exo Zombies, because in the game's multiplayer mode, where I normally utilize the exosuit, I really did not like it. You're pitted against other players doing the exact same thing as you. You're all rocket jumping, you're all in-air speed boosting, you all have exosuits, so of course you're all equal-footed enemies to each other. In Zombies though, you are the most powerful person in the game. You're the one benefiting from the exosuit, you're the one jumping over and around zombies. You now have the benefit of the game essentially becoming multi-dimensional. It adds another layer of maneuverability and survival capabilities that you don't have in any other Zombies mode. In that, the exosuit mechanics are actually really cool and pretty interesting, and it's a fun gimmick to this game because they're entirely unique. And the exosuit in Zombies only serves as a benefit to the player, an extra dimension of gameplay mechanic for you to utilize to your own benefit in this version of Zombies. And yes, some zombies in this mode do have exosuit-like capabilities, but they're also a dumb AI, so they're not using the exosuit in a way that's necessarily annoying the same way a real player would. You don't have to worry about running around as normal around the map and a zombie using the exosuit to blast its way above the crowd and get to you, but you can do that in the reverse, which makes it feel more like an ability that you have rather than a mechanic you have to work against. I will fully admit, in this gameplay you can tell I am kind of working against it, but I chalk that up to the fact that I haven't touched Advanced Warfare in 12 years, so this is all kind of new to me again. Plus, Advanced Warfare on PC is a little clunky and a little buggy, so I'm fully willing to chalk that up as a skill issue on my end, plus a combination of the PC version of this game not being that great. Overall, I was actually having a lot of fun with the exosuit mechanics and relearning how Advanced Warfare plays, and I realized it's not as bad as I remember it being. This game's gameplay mechanics are really cool and an added perk rather than weird and an annoying quirk. And on top of that, Advanced Warfare being a more futuristic Call of Duty game allows it to bend the rules and the norms a little bit, so you get more interesting perks and abilities and fun weapons to use. And again, it's something that I didn't expect from Exo Zombies. I actually anticipated that I wasn't going to enjoy the gunplay in this game or that I wasn't going to enjoy the mode, but I was wrong. The weapons in Exo Zombies are pretty satisfying to use for a reason you wouldn't fully expect. The guns actually feel like you need to upgrade them. Off the bat, nothing's really all that powerful, so you have to try every combination you can. You need to hit the mystery box, which again is the 3D printer in this game. You actively want to experiment with every different loadout combination, and weapons that you wouldn't expect to normally be very useful in other Zombies games might actually be really good in this one. For instance, the Cell shotgun, it's actually one of the best weapons in this game. Other COD Zombies games don't usually benefit from you using shotguns. Up until this point, the other Treyarch entries in Zombies were World at War, Black Ops 1, and Black Ops 2. So your shotgun options were the trench gun and double barrel in World at War, which start totally fine but suck later on in high rounds, the Olympia and the Stakeout in Black Ops 1, which again are fine early on but bad later game, or the Remington and the S12 among some others in Black Ops 2, which again, you guessed it, are fine early on but not viable mid to late game weapons. Advanced Warfare, on the other hand, with Exozombies makes shotguns extremely valuable. It made a machine gun pretty good early on. It makes almost any gun worthwhile to use so long as you upgrade it. You just have to be comfortable using that weapon and committing a bunch of points to maximize its upgradability. Because this game has a different pack-a-punch style system, 2,500 points per upgrade, that gives you a new Mark variant of your weapon up through Mark 20. So you have to be willing to commit about 50,000 points to a weapon. And once you've done that, pretty much any gun in this game is good. Which on paper, it kind of sounds like an annoying mechanic, but in my opinion, actually playing this game, it felt like a very satisfying progression system. I actually had incentive to try and rack up points and get my gun upgraded over and over and over again and hold on to the guns that I got earlier on and commit myself to a random set of loadout that I got out of the mystery box, rather than just spinning over and over and over again until I got a wonder weapon and the most overpowered gun right off the bat. So far, I've been pretty pleasantly surprised. Gunplay is good, movement is fun, so what about the rest of the mode? What about the zombies themselves, the map design, maybe even the maps themselves and their special quirks and differences? Well, in full transparency, I haven't played the other maps past the game's first DLC, which included what I would consider Exozombies' launch map, Outbreak. From what I understand, this is actually one of the least popular of the 4 maps, so I guess I got a pretty bad impression and yet still came out liking this mode a lot. It's down near the bottom for most folks alongside a map called Infection, which is the map that features Burger Town, so most folks just call it Burger Town. Honestly though, in my opinion, Outbreak is actually a pretty cool map. It's a research facility based on Advanced Warfare's main big bad technology company, Atlas, which has you traversing through hallways and labs and delivery ports and outdoor areas and more. It's pretty straightforward. It has some wide open zones for you to train around and spend most of your time in, but it also serves to provide a bit of challenge in tight corridors and tricky spots that you could absolutely get hung up in if you're not paying good enough attention to your surroundings. In that, it's pretty casual friendly to anyone playing Exozombies for the first time, which serves very well as an intro map. But it also serves great as a challenging map to get set up on and try to high round for. It also features an alternative to the normal dog round that you would expect from max ammos in a Black Ops Zombies game, this time giving you infection rounds that are alongside normal dog rounds, where you have to fight off infected zombies that are actively trying to turn you, and if you get hit, you need to interact with this game's decontamination zones, otherwise you'll die and that's the end of the game. It actually adds a little bit more challenge and a bit more fear to the mode that I really like. It makes these special rounds feel like a proper high-stakes challenge round rather than just something you come to expect every few rounds to refill your mags and go about the rest of the game as normal afterward. You really dread this special round coming. You want to prepare and get ready for it. You want to be geared up and fully alert as not to have to scramble to keep the game going by getting infected and accidentally missing your window to decontaminate. Every hit brings the clock down quicker, and if you're playing lazily, the entire game can end in seconds, which makes it interesting enough and adds a layer of complexity to the gameplay loop that I think other developers could actually take some notes on. Treyarch, maybe make dog rounds a little bit higher stakes. Make us have to earn those max ammos rather than consider them an inevitable. I actually really like the way that Sledgehammer handled this with Exozombies. Now, there are 2 other maps in this mode, both Carrier and Descent, that I've heard a lot of people really like, so let me know if I should give those a shot, and if you want to see me pick up some more Advanced Warfare DLCs and try out the other maps that this game has to offer. I can make a separate video about those and let you know my overall thoughts about all of Exozombies. Now, the last thing I want to talk about is the story of Exozombies, which is probably its weakest point. So far, I've really enjoyed the gameplay. I think it's an interesting take on zombies, and I might even find myself going back to it and trying to high round a bit and optimize my gameplay for Exozombies, just because to me it's all brand new. An added benefit of avoiding the mode for so long is that it's all fresh to me, and I actually really like it, which I did not expect. But I haven't engaged with the story at all, because that's the weakest point of this game for me. It doesn't feel much like a traditional zombie storyline that actively makes me want to participate in each map's Easter egg main quest. The benefit of Treyarch's Black Ops Zombies is that it stands on its own. The characters that are established, their backgrounds, the antagonists, the objective of the story, everything that they're fighting for and their motives are all interesting. But Exozombies basically turns the campaign storyline of Big Bad Technology Company by actually using the campaign's main antagonist as Exozombies' antagonist as well. Doesn't really feel like a fresh or unique take on the mode. It just feels like Sledgehammer wanted a zombie survival mode, built some really good foundations for a fun game, and then gave up when it came to giving it some meaning and some background and some lore. But if the story is the weakest thing in this game, I would actually go fully on record saying this is a good zombies game. I didn't expect to enjoy it as much as I did, and for a decade of avoiding giving it a shot, I'm really kicking myself for not playing it during its own heyday. The story doesn't matter to me, the gameplay is pretty fun, and I really enjoyed playing it. Exozombies is good. It makes me want to go back and keep giving it a shot and keep trying out what else the game has to offer. Plus, I get to play as John Malkovich, which is a really great added bonus. Alongside Jeff Goldblum, he might be one of my favorite special celebrity guest characters we've ever gotten in a COD Zombies game. But let me know your thoughts. Did you like Exo Zombies, or did you hop on the hate bandwagon that this version of the mode got from Treyarch Zombies fans like myself back when it first came out? Let me know your thoughts. And if you like this video, drop a comment, leave a like, and maybe even consider subscribing. It really does help a ton. That's all I've got for now, and I'll see you in the next one.